Oh, I'm glad that I went to the Malverne Comic Fest. And before I tell you my thoughts on it, well, let's tell you what it is. The Malverne Comic Fest took place at the Bridge Church in Malverne, which is approximately 20 minutes away from Queens, with an LIRR station across the street from the venue. So if you're not taking your car, you don't have a car, someone stole your car, well, you can always take the LIRR. I happened to drive, and it was very easy. And when I pulled up, I said, I've been to this place before, and I remember just how peaceful and easy it was getting to the Bridge Church before. Parking's a breeze, and it has a peaceful feel to it. It kind of felt to me, which I commented when I was there, I feel like I was on Universal Studios town set. It didn't feel like a real town. It was very cute. So I liked the place. I liked the parking. Everyone was very nice. I might have pissed off someone. So, when you tell an actor that you don't know who they are multiple times, and I get more and more paranoid about how I don't know who this actor is, and I'm digging the hole deeper, I'm saying I don't know them, perhaps I'm going to have not the most positive response. But I will say, despite me putting my foot in my mouth, which I often do, everyone was very, very friendly and very welcoming. So let's tell you about it. All right. The vendors included local shops and artists celebrating comics, cosplay, collectibles, ranging from Marvel, DC, to the Alpha Gods, and more comic book artists showcasing their works and their artwork. Actors who starred in the Warriors movie were talking to fans, they were doing interviews, they did a Q&A panel right after this event ended at a movie theater across the street, which I went to. So to be precise, there were 3 Warriors, 2 Lizzies, and an orphan from the movie The Warriors several years ago, which I actually hadn't seen. So because I hadn't seen them, I didn't want to ask them stupid questions, dumber than usual. And I didn't get any interviews with the Warriors, but it's going to happen eventually. But I did see the movies with them. They did a really cool Q&A. And if it wasn't for the Malverne Comic Fest, well, I wouldn't see the Warriors, which I just happened to be speaking about a week before this event. Mark and I often talk about how things that happen in my real life tend to happen within the week of one of our shows. So maybe I'm fated to be on the show, or maybe it's just coincidence, or maybe I'm reading into things. But I talked about the Warriors movie, how I hadn't seen it. And my boyfriend even showed me clips on the internet. And boom, here I am, surrounded by the Warriors, seeing the movie, loved it. Now back to the Malverne Comic Fest. All right, which again, I loved the area. There's a nice pizza place down the street, and the movie theater's right down the street. So there was also 2 men, which you hear the interview on the radio, Fury's Revenge, and they're dressed almost exactly like the Furies. They were in full face paint and baseball costumes, very welcoming, very positive, all about the positive energy, which, on some days we really need some positive energy. So it's nice to see people intentionally going out there and covered in face paint nonetheless. The Fury's Revenge is a modern-day spin-off of the original Furies from the cult classic movie, well, The Warriors. This event was hosted by Rocky's Comics and Gary Demers. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I probably am. I'm very sorry. Produced by Chris Montalvo of Alpha Gods Comics. We have an interview with him. And Antonio Montalvo. And they have a very, very, very cool artistry that they were showcasing at the Comic Fest. There was also wrestler Gene Snitsky, who I didn't get to speak to. There's so many people I did not get to speak to. So guess what? I'm going to have to go back. I definitely have to go back. And I please hope you guys do this next year. And I'm going to get more interviews, because guess what? I was too chicken to interview anyone that I didn't know after going up to the first person, asking for an interview after saying probably 5 to 8 times how I didn't know anything they've ever done. And it just got a little awkward. I'm not going to go into the details, but it's my fault. And after putting my foot in my mouth, I was just a little bit skittish, which I've never been before on this level. There was also Angel Salazar, the Chi-Chi from Scarface. He's a really funny guy. He puts on a great stand-up comedy show. I know because I just hosted a birthday party that he headlined, and I'd opened for him last summer, which was very cool. My first year of comedy to open for Chi-Chi of Scarface. So he was there, and I didn't get to speak to him either, not because I was too scared, but because I had an hour and I was trying to get interviews. And every time I looked to say hi to you, Angel Salazar, you weren't at your booth. So, and you were, I noticed, at the Warriors Q&A, and I even waved. I did wave. I tried, but you didn't see my wave. So yeah, that was my attempt and my miss. So Angel Salazar, if you think I snubbed you, I definitely didn't. He's really funny. Recommends his stand-up. He should do more stand-up online so people that can't come to see him live necessarily can see him online. Anyway, gonna throw it back to the Warriors. It was just nice to see that the Warriors and Chi-Chi from Scarface still relevant in 2022 live at the Malverne Comic Fest. And it's just nice to see that some things don't change, because I'm going to be thinking of Scarface my whole life. I just did a Scarface photo shoot for Red Midnight magazine recently. Back to the fest. I have a lot of, I should just call this I Digress. There were tons of cosplayers there fitting very nicely into their costumes, props. It takes a lot of nerve, I would say, or as Jews say, chutzpah, to throw yourself in a cosplay outfit. You know, sometimes I would be too nervous to call that much attention to myself. There was retro arcade gaming, D&D, which Dungeons and Dragons, and Magic the Gathering gaming sessions. Proceeds of this event went to funding the Bridge Kids Ministry at that Bridge Church, which is very pleasant. I really like the vibe there. And the address, just in case you want to go there, 1 Norwood Avenue, Malverne, New York. But we'll have to wait for the next Malverne Comic Fest, because this was definitely an original and good vibes, good energy, lots of talent, lots of inspiration. And if you feel like, you know, meeting people and seeing how they make a comic book, or just supporting them, or maybe learning from them to do your own thing, this is a great place to be. So thank you for having me. I could go on. And well, tickets were $7 each. Let's see what the ticket prices are next year with inflation. But children 10 years and under are free. So my final thought, you want to put some wrinkle cream on and really take care of yourself. Maybe you can pass for a 9-year-old, and maybe you can get in for free. And that's my review of the Malverne Comic Fest. I'm going to throw it back to you, Mark.